Hello, everybody. Gonna continue doing this Silence Dogood cover. And I've got the arms I've just finished with the last video, these ones, and so I just got to do these two little guys here. Then the robots' bodies, and then just pull it all together with some line work. So last time I was here, I downloaded my I was playing this Jewels of Gualar reading of Conan the Barbarian story written by Robert E. Howard, and I only had a couple of chapters, and I got the other chapters now online, so I'll play them in a second. But just going back here and just want to get in the zone first. Let's see what I got here. I kind of want to listen to Post Kangs, but I have to get some work done here. And I can't, gotta work me first. Work before play. Get some nice shines going on here. Get a little bit of an under lighting here. Okay, that looks all right. This should probably be the same color as that, though. I think I'd make this one lighter. This cloth, because it's the same plane there. Hello, 40% Zed. Nice to have you join me here this late night. I'm always up late, by the way. Nature of what I do. Everything's due the next day. So really, I can't really stream when I'm doing stuff. The great thing about this, and I'm gonna ask more guys when I work on their stuff, can I do it on live stream? Because I can live stream if it's allowed to be seen, but if it's not allowed to be seen, but they get free advertising, like this particular piece here. It's a lot of advertising for this comic book called Ben Franklin is Silence Dogood, Time Travel Agent. Here, let me put the logo up here so folks can see this. I gotta make sure I advertise. Where is the logo? Oh, here it is. No, that's the template. Yeah, that's the name of it. It's a cool story, very interesting. That's why I got interested in it. I don't take on any assignment. I really want to work on something that I'm interested in. So okay, I got that arm done. Now this arm over here, easy enough. If I can find which layer it's on. Front claws. I don't want front claws, I want. Where is it? Front claws. Those are the front claws. Where are the middle claws? Here we go. Perfect. Okay. Zoom in. This is where I get into some danger sometimes. I move in too close, too fast, and I forget that it's so small people aren't going to ever see it. So I got to just do it quickly, do it lightly. sort of okay, I think. I want that to be a little different color. Done. It's good enough. Again, it's so small. Okay, robots. Let's see what. Oh, this is an atmosphere layer. That'll be later. Working on that. Let's get into these robots. Robots. Okay, I'm gonna do this guy's arm. Middle robot. Shoulder. This is the thing, I can't seem to label that. And I don't know why I can't label something. It's weird. That's odd. Odd circumstances. I want this to be the same kind of shine. This looks like when computer graphics were just starting out and they could just do a round ball and make it three-dimensional. I remember that, like, oh wow, it looks so three-dimensional. Wow. And these balls like that would move around in somewhere, and they'd be like, wow, you can a ball and you can move it. It looks incredible. Like Tron, the movie Tron had that stuff in it. Okay, I got a line above and a line below. Let's see, I think I don't really need to see it because it goes too far over here, so it's really not that important. Okay, the arms. This doesn't look like it's solid. It's weird. Strange. Strange magic. Okay, got this shine like that. I think these, I gotta see how did I do it on this side. Pretty black with some not super white highlights. Now I'm putting a lot of work into these, but the reality is I'm gonna hit it with so much atmosphere. Like I'll show you. When I pull back, at least I think I'm going to hit it with a lot, because I need to separate all this complication from the figures. So it might fade back that much, which means I don't have to be too worried about the detail in here. That it's going to be disappearing. I need separation, like between this hat and this arm. And adding a layer of atmosphere is a way to do that. Where's that arm here? Okay, got that. Okay, I think I'm going to put on some the second chapter in this book of mine. I got these books off of LibriVox. It's free domain stuff read by volunteer readers. And they're pretty good. I think, anyways. Okay, time for this atmosphere here.
Chapter 2 of Jewels of Gwalor by Robert Howard. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 2, A Goddess Awakens. The Cimmerian at first made no attempt to fight the current that was sweeping him through lightless night. He kept himself afloat, gripping between his teeth the sword which he had not relinquished even in his fall, and did not even seek to guess to what doom he was being borne. But suddenly a beam of light lanced the darkness ahead of him. He saw the surging, seething black surface of the water in turmoil as if disturbed by some monster of the deep, and he saw the sheer stone walls of the channel curved up to a vault overhead. On each side ran a narrow ledge just below the arching roof, but they were far out of his reach. At one point this roof had been broken, probably fallen in, and the light was streaming through the aperture. Beyond that shaft of light was utter blackness, and panic assailed the Cimmerian as he saw he would be swept on past that spot of light and into the unknown blackness again. Then he saw something else. Bronze ladders extending from the ledges to the water's surface at regular intervals, and there was one just ahead of him. Instantly he struck out for it, fighting the current that would have held him in the middle of the stream. It dragged at him with tangible, animate, slimy hands, but he buffeted the rushing surge with the strength of desperation, and now drew closer and closer inshore, fighting furiously for every inch. Now he was even with the ladder, and with a fierce, gasping plunge, he gripped the bottom rung and hung on, breathless. A few seconds later, he struggled up out of the seething water, trusting his weight dubiously to the corroded rungs. They sagged and bent, but they held, and he clambered up onto the narrow ledge, which ran along the wall scarcely a man's length below the curving roof. The tall Cimmerian was forced to bend his head as he stood up. A heavy bronze door showed in the stone at a point even with the head of the ladder, but it did not give to Conan's efforts. He transferred his sword from his teeth to its scabbard, spitting blood, for the edge had cut his lips in that fierce fight with the river, and turned his attention to the broken roof. He could reach his arms up through the crevice and grip the edge, and careful testing told him it would bear his weight. An instant later, he had drawn himself up through the hole and found himself in a wide chamber in a state of extreme disrepair. Most of the roof had fallen in, as well as a great section of the floor, which was laid over the vault of a subterranean river. Broken arches opened into other chambers and corridors, and Conan believed he was still in the great palace. He wondered uneasily how many chambers in that palace had underground water directly under them, and when the ancient flags or tiles might give way again and precipitate him back into the current from which he had just crawled. And he wondered just how much of an accident that fall had been. Had those rotten flags simply chanced to give way beneath his weight? Or was there a more sinister explanation?
Well, I think a more sinister.
One thing at least was obvious. He was not the only living thing in that palace. That gong had not sounded of its own accord, whether the noise had been meant to lure him to his death or not. The silence of the palace became suddenly sinister, fraught with crawling menace. Could it be someone on the same mission as himself? A sudden thought occurred to him at the memory of the mysterious Bit Yakin. Was it possible that this man had found the teeth of Gwalor in his long residence in Alkmenon? That his servants had taken them with them when they departed? The possibility that he might be following a will-o'-the-wisp infuriated the Cimmerian. Choosing a corridor which he believed led back toward the part of the palace he had first entered, he hurried along it, stepping gingerly as he thought of that black river that seethed and foamed somewhere below his feet. His speculations recurrently revolved about the oracle chamber and its cryptic occupant. Somewhere in that vicinity must be the clue to the mystery of the treasure, if indeed it still remained in its immemorial hiding place. The great palace lay silent as ever, disturbed only by the swift passing of his sandaled feet. The chambers and halls he traversed were crumbling into ruin, but as he advanced, the ravages of decay became less apparent. He wondered briefly for what purpose the ladders had been suspended from the ledges over the subterranean river, but dismissed the matter with a shrug. He was little interested in speculating over unremunerative problems of antiquity. He was not sure just where the oracle chamber lay from where he was, but presently he emerged into a corridor which led back into the great throne room under one of the arches. He had reached a decision. It was useless for him to wander aimlessly about the palace seeking the hoard. He would conceal himself somewhere here, wait until the Kashani priests came, and then, after they had gone through the farce of consulting the oracle, he would follow them to the hiding place of the gems, to which he was certain they would go.
Sounds like a plan.
Perhaps they would only take a few of the jewels with him. He would content himself with the rest. Drawn by a morbid fascination, he re-entered the oracle chamber and stared down again at the motionless figure of the princess, who was worshipped as a goddess, entranced by her frigid beauty. What cryptic secret was locked in that marvelously molded form? He started violently. The breath sucked through his teeth. The short hairs prickled at the back of his scalp. The body still lay as he had first seen it, silent, motionless, in breastplates of jeweled gold, gilded sandals, and silken skirt. But now there was a subtle difference. The lissome limbs were not rigid. A peach bloom touched the cheeks. The lips were red. With a panicky curse, Conan ripped out his sword. "Crom, she's alive!" At his words, the long, dark lashes lifted. The eyes opened and gaped up at him inscrutably, dark, lustrous, mystical. He glared in frozen speechlessness. She sat up with a supple ease, still holding his ensorcelled stare. He licked his dry lips and found voice. "You are you Yelaya?" he stammered.
Yaira?
"I am Yelaya." The voice was rich and musical, and he stared with new wonder. "Do not fear. I will not harm you if you do my bidding." "How can a dead woman come to life after all these centuries?" he demanded, as if skeptical of what his senses told him. A curious gleam was beginning to smolder in his eyes. She lifted her arms in a mystical gesture. I am a goddess. 1,000 years ago, there descended upon me the curse of the greater gods, the gods of darkness beyond the borders of light. The mortal in me died. The goddess in me could never
capital
die.
S with a hit.
Here I have lain for so many centuries, to awaken each night at sunset, and hold my court as of yore, with specters drawn from the shadows of the past. Man, if you would not view that which will blast your soul forever, get hence quickly, I command you, go. The voice became imperious, and her slender arm lifted and pointed. Conan, his eyes burning slits, slowly sheathed his sword, but he did not obey her order. He stepped closer, as if impelled by a powerful fascination. Without the slightest warning, he grabbed her up in a bear-like grasp. She screamed a very ungoddess-like scream, and there was a sound of ripping silk, as with one ruthless wrench he tore off her skirt. Goddess! Ha! His bark was full of angry contempt. He ignored the frantic writhings of his captive. I thought it was strange that a princess of Alcmenon would speak with a Corinthian accent. As soon as I gathered my wits, I knew I'd seen you somewhere. You're Muriela, Zargheba's Corinthian dancing girl. This crescent-shaped birthmark on your hip proves it. I saw it once when Zargheba was whipping you. Goddess! Bah! He smacked the betraying hip contemptuously and resoundingly with his open hand, and the girl yelped piteously. All her...
Hey, Brett, how's it going, man? Doing a cover here for, I don't know if you know Sean Salter. This is his comic book cover, his comic book. Ben Franklin is Silence Dogood, time travel agent. So, yep, getting close to being done with this sucker too. I'm on a roll. I'm feeling like I'm getting that machine thing going. The head. I should put all these, lock all these layers. Okay. The head. Why isn't this head though? Salad right there. That's not good. That'll show up later badly. Lock it. Hello, Hellas Borgio. How do you say that word? I don't know. Borgiosi. Awesome one, man. You're a late night guy too? Let's see. I'm a late night guy, that's for sure. Let's see what we got here. Get this yeah, I've been doing comics lately, guys. Comics. I'm so busy with my regular stuff, advertising work for a while. And all of a sudden, I got a break. It's feast and famine in my business. But the good news is, I have comic book stuff to fit in between here, which is great. comics again after 27 years. 27 years later, return to comics. It's funny, I paint on the Photoshop. So I'm painting in Photoshop right now, just freehand. But I haven't painted with actual paints in a long time, until the other day, where I was trying to get something ready for Ethan's auction stream, but it never happened. I couldn't get in time because I was throwing a birthday party for my surprise birthday party for my wife, which turned out great. But to get ready, I was doing some actual artwork on paint on paper. Hang on a second. I'll show you guys that in a second. Look, I'm not even paying attention. I'm disappearing. Let me see if I can find this thing. Not paying attention to my camera. There. Now I'm kind of in camera again. Why am I so close, though? I'm zoomed in a bit too much. Here we go. Back. That's a little better. That's better. No one needs to see me that close, that's for sure. Hang on a second, the boys and girls. Where is that? I might have taken it in the other room. Hang on, boys and girls. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, back. And I'm going to show folks something interesting. I used paint on this particular piece. Let's see, get big. Yeah, I did this for the auction. But I used to be able to really, she's done it with markers. And I don't know if you can. I'll have to turn off the blur. Okay, there you go. She's done with markers, and it's reversed. I don't know if I think you're seeing the reverse. It says she's saying, "How about a drink?" It's Pepper Potts. Iron Man has just obviously done something amazing, and she's looking really hot. Now the whole thing is marker, except for the flesh tones. That's painted with gouache. So I really, that's old school, but I can still paint. But gouache is such a difficult paint to master because it goes on wet generally if you want to try to get it smooth. So when you're applying it, it's lighter, and you have to kind of anticipate how it's going to dry with the other shades that are dry on it already. So it's quite a difficult paint to master. But they used it all the time in advertising, and that was a big paint when I got started. And so I can paint oils, I can paint acrylics, I can paint gouache and watercolor or anything. But you got to just kind of figure out what the medium does. But I was going to auction this, so maybe next time. There's another one too, but solar out of the atom. I got a bunch of these. Anyways, if you're interested enough, you can check that out. Thought that was fun though, just painting with paint. So ancient and archaic. And old masters of paint we used. Oh my gosh. I was in an agency. This is a funny thing. I was in an agency a while back, and I was drawing up concept stuff for them, and I was sitting. They gave me a desk amongst this big, set of tables and booths and everything. They didn't have any of those walls, so this is pretty open with a lot of people, and everybody's tapping away at their computer, like this, and I'm sitting with my pencils and paper, and I got my battery-powered pencil sharpener, and like. Like old school, like, oh, Sonny, I've got from the old school. Let me bite the tip here. Get it sharp. Like, I feel like a peddler, of old or something, walking around with my case of pencils and art supplies. Everyone's got the high-tech computer stuff. The funny thing is, it's still faster to draw, I think, with paper, and it is on the computer. It's just that the results are so nice. Like this, to do this with paint, what I'm doing here, it would really, you'd have to mask everything off. Then you hit it with your airbrush, and it was just a real pain in the butt to do smooth surfaces like this. And you could do them with gouache. You could mask them off, and you could do it just with people do it with paints and blend the paints almost as good as an airbrush. But it was difficult. Making the lines like this, you'd have a paintbrush and a ruler, or a sweep, which I still use. But drawing on the computer is just so much nicer. The results are just fantastic. Okay, let's put on some stuff. Continuation with our story. Last we left our story, Conan had just figured out some girl was tricking him. and he wasn't too happy about it.
Imperiousness had gone out of her. She was no longer a mystical figure of antiquity, but a terrified and humiliated dancing girl, such as can be bought at almost any Shemitish
What?
marketplace. She lifted up her voice and wept unashamedly. Her captor glared down at her with angry triumph. Goddess! Ha! So you were one of the veiled women Zargheba brought to Kashia with him. Did you think you could fool me, you little idiot? A year ago, I saw you in Akbitana with that swine Zargheba, and I don't forget faces or women's figures. I think I'll... Squirming about in his grasp, she threw her slender arms about his massive neck in an abandon of terror. Tears coursed down her cheeks, and her sobs quivered with a note of hysteria. Oh, please don't hurt me. Don't. I had to do it. Zargheba brought me here to act as the oracle. Why, you sacrilegious little hussy, rumbled Conan. Do you not fear the gods? Crom, is there no honesty anywhere? Oh, please, she begged, quivering with abject fright.
Please, Conan, you kill a lot of people.
Zargheba. Oh, what shall I do? I shall be cursed by these heathen gods. What do you think the priests will do to you if they find out you're an impostor? He demanded. At the thought, her legs refused to support her, and she collapsed in a shuddering heap, clasping Conan's knees and mingling incoherent pleas for mercy and protection with piteous protestations of her innocence of any malign intention. It was a vivid change from her pose as the ancient princess, but not surprising. The fear that had nerved her then was now her undoing. Where is Zargheba? He demanded. Stop yammering, damn it, and answer me. Outside the palace, she whimpered, watching for the priests. How many men with him? None. We came alone. Ha! It was much more like the satisfied grunt of a hunting lion. You must have left Kashia a few hours after I did. Did you climb the cliffs? She shook her head, too choked with tears to speak coherently. With an impatient imprecation, he seized her slim shoulders and shook her until she gasped for breath.
Jeez.
Will you quit that blubbering and answer me? How did you get into the valley? Zargheba knew the secret way, she gasped. The priest Gwarunga told him, and Thutmerkri. On the south side of the valley, there is a broad pool lying at the foot of the cliffs. There is a cave mouth under the surface of the water that is not visible to the casual glance. We ducked under the water and entered it. The cave slopes up out of the water swiftly and leads through the cliffs. The opening on the side of the valley is masked by heavy thickets. I climbed the cliffs on the east side, he muttered. Well, what then? We came to the palace, and Zargheba hid me among the trees while he went to look for the chamber of the oracle. I do not think he fully trusted Gwarunga. While he was gone, I thought I heard a gong sound, but I was not sure. Presently, Zargheba came and took me into the palace and brought me to this chamber where the goddess Yelaya lay upon the dais. He stripped the body and clothed me in the garments and ornaments. Then he went forth to hide the body and watch for the priests. I have been afraid. When you entered, I wanted to leap up and beg you to take me away from this place, but I feared Zargheba. When you discovered I was alive, I thought I could frighten you away. What were you to say to the oracle? He asked. I was to bid the priests to take the teeth of Gwalor and give some of them to Thutmerkri as a pledge, as he desired, and place the rest in the palace at Kashia. I was to tell them that an awful doom threatened Kishan if they did not agree to Thutmerkri's proposals. And, oh yes, I was to tell them that you were to be skinned alive immediately. Thutmerkri wanted the treasure where he, or the Zembawans, could lay hand on it easily, muttered Conan, disregarding the remark concerning himself. I'll carve his liver yet. Garulga is a party to the swindle, of course. No, he believes in his gods and is incorruptible. He knows nothing about this. He will obey the oracle. It was all Thutmekri's plan. Knowing the Kishani would consult the oracle, he had Zargheba bring me with the embassy from Zimbabwe, closely veiled and secluded. Well, I'm damned, muttered Conan. A priest who honestly believes in his oracle and cannot be bribed? Crom. I wonder if it was Zargheba who banged that gong. Did he know I was here? Could he have known about that rotted flagging? Where is he now, girl? Hiding in a thicket of lotus trees near the ancient avenue that leads from the south wall of the cliffs to the palace, she answered. Then she renewed her importunities. Oh, Conan, have pity on me. I am afraid of this evil ancient place. I know I have heard stealthy footfalls padding about me. Oh, Conan, take me away with you. Zargheba will kill me when I have served his purpose here. I know it. The priests, too, will kill me if they discover my deceit. He is a devil. He bought me from a slave trader who stole me out of a caravan bound through southern Koth, and has made me the tool of his intrigues ever since. Take me away from him. You cannot be as cruel as he.
Okay.
Don't leave me to be slain here. Please, please. She was on her knees, clutching at Conan hysterically, her beautiful, tear-stained face upturned to him, her dark silken hair flowing in disorder over her white shoulders. Conan picked her up and set her on his knee. Listen to me. I'll protect you from Zargheba. The priest shall not know of your perfidy, but you've got to do as I tell you. She faltered promises of explicit obedience, clasping his corded neck as if seeking security from the contact. Good. When the priests come, you'll act the part of Yelaya, as Zargheba planned. It'll be dark, and in the torchlight they'll never know the difference. But you'll say this to them. It is the will of the gods that the Stygian and his Shemitish dogs be driven from Kishan. They are thieves and traitors who plot to rob the gods. Let the teeth of Gwalor be placed in the care of the General Conan. Let him lead the armies of Kishan. He is beloved of the gods. She shivered with an expression of desperation, but acquiesced. But Zargheba, she cried, he'll kill me. Don't worry about Zargheba, he grunted. I'll take care of that dog. Do you as I say. Here, put your hair up again. It's fallen all over your shoulders, and the gem's fallen out.
He's so nice.
He replaced the great glowing gem himself, nodding approval. It's worth a room full of slaves itself alone. Here, put your skirt back on. It's torn down the side, but the priests will never notice it. Wipe your face. A goddess doesn't cry like a whipped schoolgirl. By Chrome, you do look like Yelaya, face, hair, figure, and all. If you act the goddess with the priests as well as you did with me, you'll fool them easily. I'll try, she shivered. Good. I'm going to find Zargheba. At that, she became panicky again. No, don't leave me alone. This place is haunted. There's nothing here to harm you, he assured her impatiently. Nothing but Zargheba, and I'm going to look after him. I'll be back shortly.
Okay,
I'll be watching from close by in case anything goes wrong during the ceremony.
Okay, looks good. Let me see what's going on in YouTube land here. There's both gangs happening here. Oh, they're looking at Superman. What do I have an upcoming showing? Interesting. Interestingly enough. Let's see what's going on Twitter. Live. Yeah, it's interesting. I never looked at Twitter before. Live, what it looks like. It's kind of cool. YouTube. Okay. Okay, one robot in the middle is done. Now I just got to do the robots on the side, and then this thing is done more or less. Maybe I'll tackle these arms going up in the air. I'm not sure if that's there's. I don't even know what layer those are. Let's see, back robots, middle robot, back robot. Oh, so let's see, though, there is that. So the little robot still needs to be done here. But I don't see any, so it's going to have to just go on that first layer. Or I can create another layer here. And make it a arms up layer. That works. I'm falling down again. Lock this layer and go in here with some nice highlights. Why am I not? Maybe you don't lock it. Shiny. Let's see. Okay, good. Arms look pretty good. Back to the story. It's getting the plot thickens.
If you play your part properly, nothing will go wrong. And turning, he hastened out of the oracle chamber. Behind him, Muriela squeaked wretchedly at his going. Twilight had fallen. The great rooms and halls were shadowy and indistinct. Copper friezes glinted dully through the dusk. Conan strode like a silent phantom through the great halls, with the sensation of being stared at from the shadowed recesses by invisible ghosts of the past. No wonder the girl was nervous amid such surroundings. He glided down the marble steps like a slinking panther, sword in hand. Silence reigned over the valley, and above the rim of the cliffs stars were blinking out. If the priests of Kashia had entered the valley, there was not a sound, not a movement in the greenery to betray them. He made out the ancient, broken, paved avenue, wandering away to the south, lost amid the cluttering masses of fronds and thick-leaved bushes. He followed it warily, hugging the edge of the paving where the shrubs massed their shadows thickly, until he saw ahead of him, dimly in the dusk, the clump of lotus trees, the strange growth peculiar to the black lands of Kush. There, according to the girl, Zargheba should be lurking. Conan became stealth personified. A velvet-footed shadow, he melted into the thickets. He approached the lotus grove by a circuitous movement, and scarcely the rustle of a leaf proclaimed his passing. At the edge of the trees he halted suddenly, crouched like a suspicious panther among the deep shrubs.
Looks good.
Ahead of him, among the dense leaves, showed a pallid oval, dim in the uncertain light. It might have been one of the great white blossoms that shone thickly among the branches. But Conan knew that it was a man's face, and it was turned toward him. He shrank quickly deeper into the shadows. Had Zargheba seen him? The man was looking directly toward him. Seconds passed. That dim face had not moved. Conan could make out the dark tuft below that was the short black beard.
I think he's dead.
And suddenly, Conan was aware of something unnatural. Zargheba, he knew, was not a tall man. Standing erect, his head would scarcely top the Cimmerian's shoulder, yet that face was on a level with Conan's own. Was the man standing on something? Conan bent and peered toward the ground below the spot where the face showed, but his vision was blocked by undergrowth and the thick boles of the trees. But he saw something else, and he stiffened. Through a slot in the underbrush, he glimpsed the stem of the tree under which, apparently, Zargheba was standing. The face was directly in line with that tree. He should have seen below that face not the tree trunk, but Zargheba's body, but there was no body there. Suddenly tenser than a tiger who stalks his prey, Conan glided deeper into the thicket, and a moment later drew aside a leafy branch and glared at the face that had not moved, nor would it ever move again of its own volition. He looked at Zargheba's severed head, suspended from the branch of the tree by its own long black hair. End of chapter 2.
The Return of the
Chapter
Oracle.
2 of Jewels of Gwalor by
chapter
Robert
3.
Howard. This Libra. Chapter 3 of
Chapter
Jewels
3.
of Gwalor by Robert Howard.
Not chapter 2.
This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 3.
In the public domain.
The Return of the Oracle. Conan wheeled supplely, sweeping the shadows with a fiercely questing stare. There was no sign of the murdered man's body. Only yonder the tall, lush grass was trampled and broken down, and the sward was dabbled darkly and wetly. Conan stood, scarcely breathing, as he strained his ears into the silence. The trees and bushes, with their great pallid blossoms, stood dark, still, and sinister, etched against the deepening dusk. Primitive fears whispered at the back of Conan's mind. Was this the work of the priests of Kishan? If so, where were they? Was it Zargheba, after all, who had struck the gong? Again there rose the memory of Bit Yakin and his mysterious servants. Bit Yakin was dead. shriveled to a hulk of wrinkled leather and bound in his hollowed crypt to greet the rising sun forever. But the servants of Beit Yakin were unaccounted for. There was no proof they had ever left the valley. Conan thought of the girl, Muriela, alone and unguarded in that great shadowy palace. He wheeled and ran back down the shadowed avenue, and he ran as a suspicious panther runs, poised even in full stride to whirl right or left and strike death blows. The palace loomed through the trees, and he saw something else, the glow of fire reflecting redly from the polished marble. He melted into the bushes that lined the broken street, glided through the dense growth, and reached the edge of the open space before the portico. Voices reached him. Torches bobbed, and their flare shone on glossy ebon shoulders. The priests of Kishan had come. They had not advanced up the wide, overgrown avenue.
Let me stop this for a second. All right. Let's put that, reduce that. Tackle the robot head on that side next. I got stretch the old back a little bit. Usually shouldn't sit for more than really 30 minutes, but sometimes I get on a roll and just got to get the stuff done. Lights, line. I see. Line doesn't mean line. It means a dark line. Okay. Head. It's shoulder. Let me tackle the shoulder first, since I got the other colors right here. Head. Second head, same as the first. Time is it? 2 o'clock. The night is young still for a illustrator. 2 o'clock in the morning. Lights. Move on these babies. Now, these are going to be lit. I want to indicate light hitting the parts of it, but not all of it. Okay, so when the lights are turned on, boom. Look at that light looks weird though. Why is it so far off? That's better. That's better. I don't know why it was way off. Oh, shit. I got some. You know what? That was not a good move. Because it made a mark that I don't want. So I'm going to do this. And I'll just use my eraser tool and get in there. I do have an eraser tool, right? And oh, I'm on the wrong. Darn it! I'm on the wrong freaking layer. Okay, go back up here. I want the glow. Hit this with a nice white. So now it has the effect of being lit. Yeah, I don't know why they're way off. I must have moved them. That's what happened. Must have moved them down, and now I've got to redo them. That's better. Now they look like they're on. What about these? Did I move these down? I probably moved these down too. Looks like. It looketh liketh. All right, they look on now. I am marching through this. Marching up and down the square. Mahalo. From Unhinged. What does that mean, Mahalo? Sounds Hawaiian. Hit that like. Oh, yes. Thank you very much for doing that. Appreciate that. Where was I on this robot on the side? A robot. The head. Okay, let's do this guy's head. I gotta turn off the lights. Click. Work on the right side. Highlight goes in here first, then. Oops, when I accidentally hit the sidebar thing. It's pretty dark on there. The darker the line shadow, the more reflective you're indicating. The more it mirrors. That ear looks weird. Let's get that properly done. Lock that layer again. Hinge, what are you working on Hinge? You're drawing too. I'd like to know. And what in the world are you up in the middle of the night for? Only crazy artists are up in the middle of the night, like us. The head is a little bit large on that one. Went off the edge. Wait, that's not it. There it is. What is going on here? Why is that? Something seems to be. Oh, I know. The line's probably going over it. Okay. Got it. That's the problem. Lock those layers again. Okay, that's good. Let's do these shoulders while I'm thinking about it. Oh, wait, they're already done. Or one is already done. I don't know if anybody saw that Superman reveal today. I don't know. They don't seem to ever get anything right. They always do Superboy. Superman should be a man. A manly man. These guys got Superboy. This doesn't look tough enough. Look, he looks kind of like Superman. I think maybe when they get that AI stuff working, that could be a good thing for AI. When you got the guy who almost looks like Superman, he just needs to be beefed up a little bit better. And then they got that. Then we're talking. There's the Balti. I think this is it. Let me do head first. Needs a little more dark stuff here. Punch it up a little bit more. more reflection there. That's good. Now the body. Essentially white. Save this. A lot of strokes there. All at once for the computer to handle. All right, that's good. The line here, gonna get this line to be a little bit darker maybe. Again, when I get in here, this stuff here, it's really molding together, and you can't have that really. So I'll have to separate it somehow using tones, and which is easy to do, super easy to do in Photoshop. No problemo. Gonna do the robot body now. Okay, that's good. I finished Fallout, by the way, the other day. I don't know if anyone's seen Fallout. It was really good. Actually was times of suspense, like real suspense. You don't usually see that real where you feel suspense in a story. So that was pretty good. It was a little gory though for the old wife there. I think she kind of almost didn't get through it. But it was such a compelling story. I think she was still intrigued by it. So. Yes. Yeah, I hear you there. 40% said I too just like, oh my gosh. I have such a low tolerance too. Like Ethan was talking about that Barbie movie, and I saw his point. It was a good point, and he was saying, yeah, it's from the Barbies, from from their point of view. But there was one line in there that said something about equal pay, equal women, or having the guys maybe be part of the government. I'm just like, That's all it took. Just that one line just ruined the whole thing for me. Not that I really cared about it, but I was curious because people were saying it's such a good movie or something, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. Not for me. Just because it's again, my tolerance is extremely low for woke stuff. I just can't stand it. It's just like you show me like the diverse cast just for the sake of diversity. I hate that shit. It's like, God darn it, just do a story. We've always had diversity in these stories. We don't need any to go out of our way for it. It's ridiculous because you can tell when it's fake and it's phony. It's bullshit. So yeah, it's and especially with with written stuff, prose books. You can't read a book a modern fantasy book anymore. You can't unless you're going to get preached to. It's just freaking awful. I don't want a commercial, man. Just give me an interesting story. Some stupid political agenda or whatever. Nobody wants it. Even the people who I think even the people who agree with it, and even if the story is something I kind of agree with, I just don't feel like I want to escape from all that stuff. Just give me story. Of course, that's the thing is the with the woke crowd. When you say you don't want any position, no political position, there's no such thing for them. No political position is a position to them, which is true in a way. Technically, it's true. You don't have a political position. You're basically saying everything's okay, and you're sort of conserving what has been done before. But I think when people say no political position, they mean just no outrageous political position, just standard, the general political positions that are kind of accepted as sort of by most people. That's what you would call no political position, or I would call that. Not to them though. No such thing. Fortunately, there's crowdfunding. And books like this. Silence Dogood. Ben Franklin goes back in time. And he is he's sort of captured by a sort of a Steve Jobs kind of guy. But he figures out, even though he's he's from a different century, he starts figuring things out pretty quickly because he knows things the guy is saying lack wisdom. He's not buying that bullshit. So he sort of teams up with these two, which are from the future. Nash here, kind of a cool Clint Eastwood type that guy, and then you got your ninja girl here, who doesn't embarrass the men, by the way. Very important. Kind of sick of that. I think, I don't know about you guys, but I've had enough of a girl, enough of the stupid meme. It was cute at first. But now the throwing 250 guy, 120-pound girl throwing a 250-pound guy around, just like, oh, shut up. It's just because it's annoying. It's just when it was cute, it was nice, but now that it's, you see, like they're taking it seriously. Like, you have to have a girl who can throw guys around now. It's like, well, that was just funny. It was for games. It's not real. It's not what guys really want to see. They want to be the hero. They don't want to see the girl be the hero. When you're writing for girls, you make the girl the hero. But if they want to write for guys, You got to start understanding that guys want to be the hero of the story. Otherwise, why read it? It's a fantasy. It's not affirmative action. Yeah, every man is a bum, is an idiot slipping on banana peels. Exactly. Well, Homer Simpson. I mean, they're all the same. Every single situation comedy is the same thing. It's like in the commercials. There's some guy fumbling with the idiot, like, can't figure out this thing, and the girl walks up and touches the thing, and she gives a little smarty ass smile and walks away, and the guy's like, oh, thank you. You know, they can't do it the other way, where a girl's kind of fumbling and guy can you imagine if they did that? A commercial where the girl's trying to figure it out and the guy just comes in and goes and kind of shakes his head like, and walks away. He gets so much backlash from something like that. But it'd be funny as hell. Of course, it's always the other way. But which is, the thing is, they did it initially. It's cute, it's cute. But then now it's serious. Now you really got it. They mean it. They're not joking around. They're trying to say men are dumb, really seriously. That's the thing that sucks. Let's see. Yeah, Leroy. As a matter of fact, with this stuff, you'll see. I'm not only am I not letting it overpower the illustration, but once everything's rendered heavily, I will go in with some tone to knock that back, so the characters, because I have to do something to knock it back, so you can see the characters clearly. But there's a lot of tonage I got to go in here. I mean, you can see there's a lot of tones that'll happen to make this thing happen and come together. Right now, I'm just rendering everything realistically, and to get it to the point where it can be knocked back, but you'll still see it. So that's important. That's the plan, anyways. Thank you very much, so, for your compliment. 40% Zed, thank you too for your compliment. Wait, what layer am I on? I always do this. What is going on here? It's kind of funny. I'm spending way too much time on this stuff. Like I said, this is, I'll zoom in on this, render the crap out of it. But I want to just do a really good job. So this is a labor of love. This isn't yet really how I make my living doing these comics. I just it's just the fun stuff. So as I'm doing that, I will put in a lot of time into these illustrations and just enjoy the process. 2:30. I'm gonna say, guys, usually when I'm drawing this, I get up and take a break. So I recommend that. Take a break, walk around, all that kind of stuff. But since I'm hanging out here doing this live, I'm gonna have to muscle through it. I think what I'm going to do next, I have this idea to do. I did one Frank Frazetta study of a painting. I want to do another one, and there's one I want to do, but wanted to do for a while, but just haven't had a chance to. Too busy with other stuff. But I don't know if anybody knows the painting of the guy in the like the sailboat, and there's a giant creature popping out of the water. I like that painting. I love that painting. But I kind of want to try it, kind of duplicate it, and then make it so that the sky isn't black. That's the only thing I don't like about that painting, is that the sky is black. And I just thought of, because there's actually two versions of it. There's one a little bit older that I did, and it's more linear. Then he did the oil painting version. They're both great, but I really want to paint something Conan live. That's my favorite thing to do is to paint the barbarian stuff. Speaking of barbarians, there's you guys want to check out Core Draft. Andy Smith and Dennis Turner wrote it. Andy Smith colored it, and it is a lot of fun. They're promoting the second issue now of it. And I've colored a lot of the stuff in there. I've colored the covers. So if you're looking at the cover with Adriana, that's my coloring on that. I colored. As a matter of fact, let me just bring up something real quick. Where is Core Draft? Gaming cover 1, gaming cover 2. There it is. Oh, I think I enjoyed coloring this one so much. I mean, it's fun. This is my favorite kind of stuff to do. Hey, I'll zoom in so you can really see how I handled some of these colors. But, this is Frazetta paint. This is Frazetta coloring. Different skin tones. This is what's so great about Photoshop today. You don't have to do, flat colors on these. Look at, I got hot pinks in here. I got reds, browns and yellows, just rich, warm colors. The dragon is fun and cool. She's all right, cool. Look, I can put all these colors into almost like doing a watercolor. It's a lot of fun. Print anything. Let's see. See that? Now this is what's cool too. So I painted this whole background, and then I just take a tone right here. I don't know if you can see this color right here. That is a multiply layer at 24%. Let me bring it up to 100%. I'll make it actually a normal layer for a second. That's the color. So I change that into a multiply layer. That means it multiplies with everything behind it. And this is just on the background. Then I brought it down to about opacity of 25%. And that gives it a nice warm, whole thing a nice warm touch. A little bit of that Rembrandt coloring then. And I do that a lot with the rest of the stuff. You can see the ground. I use the multiply layer over the ground. which I forgot this. Okay, there's a multiply layer there on this part of the ground. Where's the dude himself? Where's Cordrath? It's Adriana. Here's Cordrath, the dude. Okay, that's for him actually, that layer. So yeah, that's just I love this stuff, man. Love it. I am working on a barbarian story, by the way. It's gonna be armor, knights, warriors, and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a blast. Not so much barbarian, more knights in armor. Which is I love. I love painting armor. I love painting figures. I just made a story that consists of things I love to draw, and it just formed itself. It was really great. So, but everything when you're working with fantasy, it's so organic. You can bring in all the colors. Sci-fi is a little trickier, but you can do great colors with sci-fi, but you gotta kind of plan it ahead a little bit more. Okay, time to do the last robot. Once this robot on the right is done, this is a done deal. So, I mean, as far as rendering everything. Then I start playing with all the tones and overlays and things like that. If you guys got any books you want to talk about, put them in the chat. But I don't know if you can put links in the chat, but just put addresses in the chat, or just the names of what you're working on in the chat. By the way, if you guys watching my tutorials and you want to see something in particular, let me know. And maybe I can shine some light on it, tackle something. I only have 37 years of illustrative experience. So I do know what I'm doing when it comes to painting, drawing, pretty much anything like that. And some Photoshop. I'm good with the Photoshop. Although I don't do anything terribly fancy with it. I think I'm going to do a video on clothing. Clothing's tough. A little tricky to understand. But just a preview of what I will probably, the way I'll approach it to people is clothing is like paper. You got to think of it more as paper. The way paper folds, clothing folds similarly. Or at least it's sort of in between paper and, some kind of like rubber or water or something. So, because a lot of people, they draw it, they do clothing in it, and it looks just like, I don't know, it's like it's soft sausage. But really, it kind of folds, like paper. Got some of the great illustrators like J.C. Leyendecker to really get interesting approaches to the folded clothes. Come on, robot. Where's the body of the robot? Robot. That's the way Isaac Asimov says robot. The robot. So many layers, yeah. Tutorials, I say yes. My channel is filled with tutorials. Yes, I just go through all kinds of really the basics. It's a free art course. Is what it is. Got stuff on drawing the female figure, stuff on drawing, gesture drawing. Let me see. Maybe I can bring something up here. Great. Bring up my channel. How to Draw Comic Books by Dan Lowell's channel. Let's see. I can share it. Why am I the present not working? I have to stop the screen. Hang on a second. Okay. Share. Ta-da. Okay. Yeah, here's my channel, or my YouTube channel, which you're watching now. But I got a whole bunch of stuff up here. It's lots. It's pretty cool. First, I started this channel just doing some speed drawings, but I don't think they're as helpful because you don't hear what I have to say. Like, you can't see what I'm thinking. I try to, and then there's just some fun little unboxings there. Now it gets into the good stuff. How to draw dynamic figures. Gesture drawing. So important. Don't skip this step when you're trying to draw figures. Learn how to do gesture drawings, and I'll show you that. How to paint metallic armor. There's different types of armor. That's a good one. How to train your mind for better drawings. This is a simple exercise that you can do that actually gets your mind into the mind get your mind set. So it's just a concentration exercise, but it really, really works, and you will probably see great improvements in your art when you use this. It's just learn how to measure with your eye, but it's a concentration exercise. The ACDFC of great art, just examining really great art and taking a look at that. Here's the female figure. This is my most viewed one because it's really, people found it really helpful in trying to draw the female figure. And this one's pretty good, pretty good too. People, you can see the comments. People really find it helpful. How to draw the upper male anatomy, drawing a human head, really the male human head. Comic book logos, great insight that I have. I think it's great anyways, on how to create a great logo. Some simple technical stuff here, like how to draw, separate line art from the white background. That's how I do it anyways. There are several places way to do it. Here's the coloring, just a coloring of core draft, a story in core draft. This one was really interesting for a lot of people. Just a quick way to, it's like a perspective observation more than anything else. And it's a quick way to make sure your figures are on the same plane, if they're on the same plane, or how to find them, determine them pretty quickly. Drawing hands, really comprehensive tutorial on drawing hands that you might find, hopefully find very useful. I learned how to draw better hands just by doing this because I had to really delve into it, breaking it down, how to draw a hand, get it right. Hands are a bite, man. They're a bite to draw right. So this one took me 2 weeks to do. This is a really comprehensive one. Storytelling, basic story, how to tell clear storytelling, man. That's what I see from professionals, just left and right professionals, just blowing it. Just I see them, and it's embarrassing. Like, just it's so simple. If you follow the 180-degree rule, your storytelling becomes really clear. Drawing dynamic horses. Horses are another thing that's really tough to do. So I'm doing that one. I did one on that. How to understand perspective in art, and that's a little trickier than, because you can learn how to technically how to do 1, 2, and 3 point perspective, but understanding it and how it pertains to a piece of paper is very important. How far you keep those points apart off your drawing table makes a difference to whether it's distorted or whether it looks natural. And you'll see if you watch this one and then you go to watch the how to draw cars one, you'll see how I apply those perspective rules to getting a car to look natural and correct. Because a lot of cars, when you see them, you're using reference. They're so distorted by the lens. You have to pick the right reference. This will help you get that. This is a good understanding. Here's the study of Frazetta that I did. So I copied it Frazetta and changed it a little bit according to my taste, and just as more of an experiment for me. Custom buildings, how to create custom buildings using Photoshop, little Photoshop tricks. This one's good. This one here with Sean Gordon Murphy, Kevin Nolan, Travis Jerez. Everybody loves those guys. But why? It's good to examine, look at your best artists you love, and see why they're great. Because there are reasons when you can take a look. Understanding color in comics. This is a very simple but important way to look and know what your color is doing, how it works, what happens when you add black or white or the complementary color. It's important to know. Now, these other ones here are kind of just fun stuff, little clickbait stuff I just did for fun, but they're interesting. This one for foreshortening. That's good for foreshortening. Here's a good one on how to draw the female head. That's basically the same as the one down here with the drawing this guy, but it's female, and so that's pretty fun. Redrawing again, this is clickbait. Redrawing McFarlane, that was fun. Gina Carano, that was fun. Redrawing Liefeld. This one shows the liquify tool, and it's Photoshop. I use it all the time. It's so great, but it's really easy to unsee it with Rob Liefeld's work because it's so, there's, you see some of his eyes are this way. He's like way off. So it was really easy to show how that can be easily fixed, and how to draw cars. That's the latest one. And then lately, I've just been doing the live streams of this Silence Dogood cover. That's mainly what I'm doing with these guys. So, I got this upcoming thing. I don't know what's going on there. I got to get rid of that. So, tutorials. Yeah, I got lots, and they're free. They're free. But I am trying to get monetized. I would like to make some money off of them. So if you watch them again, and watch them and just let them play. So I can try to get my my channel. Could be fun to, the more if I can make any money off of YouTube, then I would, and I could spend more time on it. I can afford to spend more time doing tutorials and that sort of thing, which I love. I love teaching what I know. It's a lot. I'm not a young man. and pushing 60 here. So I'm I'm feeling that I'm feeling that desire to pass on what I know. It's kind of a fun thing. So check them out. Let me know what you think too. It's really important to get feedback. I don't know, if I'm teaching, because I know what I'm doing in my mind. I know, oh, I'm just render this, and it's so second nature for me. And so when I'm doing a tutorial, I'm trying to think out loud and explain. Trying to, what am I thinking out, and how am I really approaching this? A lot of tutorials just don't really do a very good job. They are draw streams. They just don't explain it. So I'm trying to be a little more explanatory. Is that a word? Um, and see if I can communicate these things a little bit more clearly. So it's a lot of fun to do, actually, though. I really get a kick out of it. When you put 37 years into a profession, you kind of want to, you're kind of excited to share it with people. Say, hey, this is what I was taught. Now it's time to teach others. But there's also things that no one taught me. I just learned it. I stumbled across it. So there's a lot of things in the tutorials that are really things you won't get anywhere else. But at least that's what I think. So, let me know what you think. Watch a few, see what you think. Give me feedback. And I can do more. It is inspirational when you feel people that appreciate what you're doing. Okay. Oh, did I? I'm working on painting, and I forgot I haven't shared the screen. I still got this other screen on. I'm painting away. What an idiot. Okay. So stop this screen and present the other screen. Okay. There. That's good. What a doofus. Okay. Back to this. I did this whole leg while you were staring at the stupid screen of YouTube stuff. So let that be an inspiration to you. I am not a genius, and if I can do it, I can draw realistically like this. It can be learned. That's what's kind of neat, interesting about these things when you make the mistakes. That's another thing. I didn't want to just do tutorials where I just showed everyone how to do it perfectly. I want people to see me screw it up, and then try to fix it and try to figure it out, and go, what the hell? Oh shit, I did that, and you just see the humanness of it, that we're not perfect, and we're always making mistakes, and you just got to keep at it, and you tackle it again and again until you get it to where you want it to be. It's not an easy process necessarily, unless you're an absolute genius, which I am not. So, but I have worked at it really hard. Really spent my lifetime trying to do great art. Oh my gosh, I might be done. It's so weird. Sometimes you're just hacking away at something, like you're hacking away at a log or something, at an axe, and then all of a sudden you just, hey, I did it. It's done. Or playing a video game. I'm playing it like mad, And I'm trying to get through this one level, and all of a sudden I just did it. Like I'm like, oh wow, okay, I can't believe I actually did it. Yeah, I think this is pretty much done. As far as I'm taking it here. Turn on the lights. Let's see what the lights look like. Boom. I'm going to try this layer of atmosphere. I'm going to actually put these tones on here and just see what this brownish approach to the painting. Yeah, I don't know if I love that, but I can also go with the blues. Where's the atmosphere? Okay, layer again here. Back atmosphere. I could do, maybe the blues are better. I don't know. That's a real dark version. Yeah, I have to figure this out. We could put the logo in. See, you can kind of see that. That's one of the reasons too. I was thinking of a warmer approach because the Silence Dogood logo is warmer. So the front claws, I would have to make them definitely use a. I'll do that here. I'll create another layer. Make it into into a clipping mask. That's just you have to right click, and you don't see that on screen because it's not. Anyways, so pick a nice warm color here, nice orangey color, and I will fill in this layer right here with foreground color. Now I'm going to change that layer into a multiply layer and reduce the opacity. So you can see it's warmed up quite a bit. It starts to fit with the rest of the illustration. So this is a possibility right here, a possible finishing approach. Where's the absolute background here? The blue. Okay. Okay. That's kind of cool, actually, in a way. But I really need to see these figures. They need to pop out. So. All right, guys. I think I'm checking out of this thing here. I'm just gonna little booped out. But I got a lot done. I don't think this is too bad. It looks kind of interesting. But I got to play with it now. That's the fun part now that all the sort of the work is done, and I can go in and just kind of goof around and see what's working. Oh, this is 100%. Yeah, Now it's just a matter of just subtle adjustments and playing with colors. This could end up being a very much a blue themed one. I have to actually a lot of it depends on when I get the final logo, what color that logo is going to be. If I have any options on the logo with the color. I don't know if this is because I took this from the other book. So, but he looks pretty cool. This Nash guy, I dig him. Ben looks pretty cool. The girl looks pretty good. Robot arms look good. Looks threatening. I told Sean, I want to do something that's part of the story, and this does take place in the book where they fight these robots. So that's important. I don't like evergreen covers, except for maybe the first issue. That's not so bad when you're doing the first issue. But let me see what's going on here on Twitter. That's right, seasoning. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Yeah, it's interesting that stream to Twitter. Wild. All right, that's done. I think I'm gonna hit this up. I got a little more work to do tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go on in the afternoon, perhaps. We'll see if I gotta run to do some errands, but I'm gonna finish this up pretty soon. Then I usually let these things sit for a couple days and just sort of see what where I want to go with. Let it get fresh eyes on it, and the best way to do this is just to let it sit for a while and come back to it and see it from a different angle. So thank you all guys for hanging out with me this evening. Leroy and 40% Zed and Unhinged and Awesome One showed up there, and Brett, who's Apex Comics, Brett. And we'll see you next time. Have a good evening or good morning, really. See you guys. Bye.